Hello and welcome to the news on the hour, the major stories. As fathers celebrate their 2022 Father's Sunday, Primeval Nigeria Anglican Communion, His Grace the Most Reverend Dr. Henry Ndukuba sends goodwill message to all fathers. The Christian Men's Fellowship of the Cathedral Church of the Advent Life Camp Gwarimpa Abuja joined Christian Men's Fellowship of the Basilica of Grace Gudu District Abuja and others to celebrate the 2022 Father's Day. Plus, Christian Association of Nigeria Acnn condemns attack in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, where gunmen attacked 2 churches in rural northwestern Nigeria, killing 3 people. And now the news in details. The Bishop of Abuja and Primate of all Nigeria, His Grace the Most Reverend Dr. Henry Ndukuba, has said that fathers are pivotal to God's plans for every generation. He said fathers are covenant connectors, priests of their homes, burden bearers, and God's representatives, progenitors, seeds, and vision carriers. This is as contained in the Primate's 2022 Father's Sunday Goodwill message, making reference to Genesis 18:16-19, he said God affirmatively attested to Abraham's obedience and godly leadership over his family as a type of faithful and godly father that leads by example, and stated that God's desire for fathers is that there will be fathers whose lives and actions will command household after Christ-likeness, saying that only fathers who keep the way of the Lord that will see and enjoy the fulfillment of what God has promised. The Primate went further to admonish all men to be vigilant and pay close attention to their health, their families, environment, and social associations, and encourage all men to obtain their voters' card, mobilize their families to do the same, adding that men must determine to be involved in voting credible leaders into power come 2023. The Christian Men's Fellowship of the Cathedral Church of the Advent Life Camp Gwarimpa Abuja has joined other men around the world to celebrate fathers and their role as the heads of every home, appreciating God for the responsibility given to them as fathers. Caroline Atumbe was there for Acnn News, and here is the report.
The celebration, which had various presentations by the women, youths, choristers, and children, was to appreciate fathers for their love and roles being the head of the family. Guest preacher at the celebration, Right Reverend Abiodun Oguyemi, charged the men to take up their responsibility and make the society a better place, as he called on them to be loving, tolerant, and forgiving.
The one who's responsible, that's the one they call father, not somebody who's married or have children. For the Hebrews from the beginning, for God from the beginning. Any man who is responsible, who is reliable, who is source, who is foundation, is called a father.
In his goodwill message, Primate Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, His Grace the Most Reverend Dr. Henry Ndukuba, represented by the Sub-Dean of the Cathedral, Venerable Ephraim Akanya, congratulated the fathers, calling on them to be God's representative and vision carrier towards fulfilling their purpose and calling in life as a father.
As we celebrate this year's Father's Sunday, God desires that we will be fathers whose lives and action will command our household after Christ-likeness.
While Men's Fellowship President was also presented in the person of Rear Admiral Segun Adebari, the men in appreciation return all praises to God in thanksgiving as they also rededicate themselves to God, affirming their vows as fathers.
The life of God the Father. And that is exactly what we saw today, is the longing heart of the Father. And that is good for us, good for every father, and very necessary for the development and growth of every family and home. And I pray that Nigerian fathers will imbibe this and put it into work and make their children go the right way so that the future can be better for us as Nigerians.
My prayer is that every father doesn't lose sight of the ball. You should keep your eyes on the ball, draw your family closer to God, ensure you adhere to the principles of God, and always meet.
These days is that the men and the church will stand for the truth, proclaim the truth, and practice the truth for our society.
For everything that we can think about the home, about the nation, the entire whole world. It's important that fathers come to this understanding. And I think that message was very clear to all of us, fathers, especially if we have not taken this responsibility of knowing that we have been called specifically to take charge.
So the fathers, first of all, have to renew themselves in a Christ and looks like Him, because He said that we look unto Him, the author and finisher of our faith, and we should be like in His image. When we do that, then we can be able to extend that to our children. And if that happens to our children,
prayer for fathers, especially my husband, is that they are the head of families, and they are the custodian of blessing in every family. And as responsible fathers, it's my prayer that they'll be able to guide the children.
As a mother, my prayer for them is that they will realize what it means to be a father. And that realizing that they will look up to the great Father Himself, the Most High God, who will give them the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding of what Father is.
I am Caroline Achumbe, reporting for Acnn News.
Congratulations to the fathers. The 2022 Father's Day anniversary was celebrated in grand style in the Diocese of Gwagwalada, abundantly shepherded by His Lordship, the Right Reverend Moses Tabwaya. The guest preacher, Evangelist Kingsley Kelechukwu, in his sermon, taken from the theme of the years recorded in Proverbs 22:29, charged men to take up their responsibility as fathers, working according to God's commandment. The highlight of the day was a special recognition of members of the church who had distinguished themselves in the service to the church and humanity at large. The service culminated with a special thanksgiving by members of the LOC, executive of CMF, and the entire members of the church. Meanwhile, members of the Christian Men's Fellowship of the Basilica of Grace Gudo District Abuja, in their beautiful attire, joined fathers all over the world to appreciate God for another special day in their lives. The service featured various presentations, all in the bid to celebrate fathers as they consider the topic, Father's Longing Heart. Fathers were urged to have a heart of compassion and to make sure to train their children in the right way. Acnn TV News correspondent Uzbeja Frank tells the story.
Happy Father's Day.
This and more are in the bid to celebrate fathers as members of the Christian Men's Fellowship Basilica of Grace Gudo District Abuja in their beautiful attire joined fathers all over the world to appreciate God for another special day in their lives. Considering the topic Fathers' Longing Heart, fathers were urged to have a heart of compassion, take up their responsibilities and make sure to train their children in the right way and be the fathers that this generation needs.
Fathers should continue to endure because it's not easy to be a man, talk less of being a father. But God's grace is sufficient for us. And then as fathers, we should copy our Father in heaven, God Almighty, who is merciful, who is gracious, who gives and gives and gives.
When they tell you the way you should go, then even when you slow, he will come back. He will not miss away. And I want our fathers to know that. That is the second thing that our father did not began to know, that the father must be a man of faith. Don't walk by sight. I must be a man of faith.
The Father's Day celebration at Basilica of Grace, Godo District, Abuja, featured several activities such as a 3 days revival program, sporting activities, and above all, the Thanksgiving Day proper.
God has given a big responsibility to every father to ensure that they bring their families to God. So at this time, we try to re-emphasize so that those that may not be going in that direction may retrieve their steps and then go back and do the right thing.
I feel very excited. I feel very good. It's been long awaited, and we thank God that this day has come. And you can see all the men in the church. We are thankful to God.
Very excited that they even decided to even give us one day to celebrate ourselves. It used to be women. Celebrate Mother's Day, Women's Day, Mother's Day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But at least now they agreed to let us also have a day to celebrate fatherhood.
To the glory of God, I feel happy. I feel proud being a father. And once in a year, the day we are celebrated as fathers, it's always a thing of joy to me. I feel fulfillment that I am a father, that everything my parents did for me is when my father, I'm going to also transfer to my kids, the biological and the people I call my kids. So I feel proud being a father.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the world. And of course, to the fathers of Basilica of Grace, Godo District, Abuja. Nzubechi Frank, reporting for Acnn News.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Zbechi Frank, for that report. A call has gone out to Christian fathers to be fathers indeed, take up and display the true essence of fatherhood and godliness. The call was made by the Archdeacon of Elelemo Archdeaconry, Diocese of Avo, Venerable Zebuke Ugoha. In his Father's Day sermon, speaking on the topic, the battle over the male child, and citing his text from Exodus 1:6-14, he noted that there is a battle over every man's life, and he can only win the battle by the fear and knowledge of God, admonishing men to constantly work towards the growth of the home and the church as it is in their hands.
When he said that tempted Eve was Eve the target, the Eve was not target, but the stepping stone. Is when he finished, he started from the easy one to the hard one. And through the woman, he was able to get that. The target is that. And when God came, his commandment was broken. Who did God call first? So if the church is falling, who should be blamed? If the family is falling, who should be blamed? Even when the woman announces, you will not be mentioned. So man, the church is in your hand. If nobody attend Bible study, who do we hold responsible? If prayers are not attended well, who is responsible? He created you first, gave you a market, made you a caretaker. Created a made you a manager. They said it's your family. They said it's the organization, the society, the community. And where are you prepared? The church. Where you get the manual to lead the society.
High point of the church service was a special birthday celebration for the vicar, Venerable Zebuke Ugoha, sang rendition by the CMF Asian Choir, and special thanksgiving as cheerful fathers danced to the altar of God in appreciation. In his response, the Elelemo District CMF President, Sir Adegbuji Festus, expressed immense gratitude to God Almighty the Evoda Assistant Bishop, the Right Reverend Innocent Uchechukwu Odu, the clergy, and all the men for their contributions and sacrifices to the church and encouraged them to do more. And you are still watching the news on the hour, still to come. As we continue to celebrate fathers, men are taught to wake up to their responsibilities. That story and others will come your way after the short break. Kindly stay tuned.
Crossfire, the program that treats controversial topics on diverse issues surrounding the family, church, and society.
Does it mean if a woman now prays with her hair uncovered, God will not honor the prayer?
Should single ladies ask single guys out on a date?
It's not a sign of desperation. It's you knowing what you want and going for it.
Okay.
But you can't tell me that comedy in the church is wrong.
Written by
if you go through our Church of Nigeria hymn now, you will see so many hymns written by Nigerians.
You know, a man is seeing something here, he's going for something else. Men are confused.
That's why I said you have to help them out.
Yeah, say something.
Okay.
Sir, can you stop a bird from flying? Depending.
But we are not instituting, we are forgiven.
No, you have forgiven,
yes.
But that forgiveness amounts to a criminal offense.
How?
Hold on. Section 7.
My brother,
anybody can bring
if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? It matters. So.
No, I'm not saying nobody is destroying any foundation here.
The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. Governance is the act of God. Even the system of government we have now is taken from the Bible. The Lord your God is your king, that's executive government. He is your lawmaker, that's legislature. He is your righteous judge, is judiciary. So he's the King of kings and the Lord of lords. Nebuchadnezzar said he reigns in the affairs of men, he enthrones and he dethrones. Therefore, Christians must be involved in every aspect of governance at every level. Martin Luther King Jr. was the one who spearheaded the revolution of the black civil rights movement in America that gave recognition to the blacks in America to today. He was the one who had a dream that put them to where they are now. And so he was a full-time Baptist gentleman. Martin Luther was the one that led the revolution against Roman Catholicism and opened up Protestantism that brought up the Renaissance and the Enlightenment and the development in the arts and the sciences today. So we as Christians, we are the light of the world and the salt of the earth. We must directly take charge of governance. Politics or governance is running the affairs of a world created by our God.
Thank you for staying tuned. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news on the hour. For more on our top stories, please visit our website at acnntv.com or our social media platforms on facebook.com or youtube.com/acnntv. To be up to date with our news and other programs, download the Avo TV app from Google Play Store. And you can also advertise your goods and services on ACNN TV. And moving on, Father's Day is a day set aside to celebrate and honor the men who have embraced the essential role of fatherhood. On this day, fathers and father figures, uncles and grandfathers are also acknowledged for the sacrifices they make, for embracing the responsibility of nurturing and raising children, and for devotion to their family. Father's Day is celebrated annually on the third Sunday in June in the United States, United Kingdom, and a number of other countries around the world. Fathers in St. James's Anglican Church of Socorro, Abuja, were not left out in this celebration, as they joined other fathers in the world in celebrating their day, despite of the odds and situations facing fathers in the society, the church, and the country today. With the theme, The Father's Longing Heart, the preacher of the day, Sir Dr. Ima Hakim, speaking on the theme of the Father's Day celebration service, said, "The gates of hell cannot stand against the children of God," as he admonishes fathers to be more responsible.
shame the enemy that the Church of God will do to march forward.
The service featured Father's Day activities, such as the unveiling of the men's musical album, awards presentations, Thanksgiving, among others.
To unveil this album.
President of Emmanuel Aberiwo, we present this award to you in recognition of your wonderful work, of your hard work, of your services, of your commitment. We want to encourage you as of the Christian Men's Fellowship of this church.
Some of the fathers spoke on the event.
Fathers are the backbone of every home, and they are being celebrated only once in the year. So every father looks up to this kind of day, if not for anything, but to thank God and to appreciate God for His grace and for His mercy. In the face of the prevailing challenges around the world and in the country, we can only advise the fathers to be more prayerful, trust God more. Yes, we have to pray, we have to be spiritual, but at the same time, we need to do what is expected of us. The onus are lying on the fathers to lead well in the nation, in the community, in the society, and in their homes.
I believe as fathers, we need to come to the drawing board to re-engineer that cohesion that was established right from creation. That is the ordination of families through marriage. We have not fared very well, but I believe that we can do much better. Fathers, to look inward and to start afresh, I believe. And it has to be all hands on deck, from moms, from aunties, from associations, from organizations, from those in authority, to be able to catch us young this time around so that it will not be very late for us.
I want to return all glory, all honor, all adoration to God Almighty. And we thank Him for life and for provision, because as heads of the home, it's really been challenging. The economy, the country has really been challenging, but God has been faithful in every situation. So we thank Him.
Meanwhile, the president of the Christian Men's Fellowship Asokoro chapter, Sir Dr. Ima Oakim, has called on fathers to wake up and take charge of their homes. According to him, fathers are the pillars of the society and are good and loving people. He also admonished fathers to rise and give the country good leadership, stressing that when fathers fail to train their children in the right way, they grow up to become nuisance to the society and country.
Fathers are too busy running around trying to provide for their families, trying to provide for the nation, for the society, so they often forget themselves. So thank God, the church and the society have set aside today to celebrate the men, and we are happy. Fathers are indeed compassionate, fathers are loving, fathers are good people, fathers are protective, fathers are the pillars of the society and the pillars of the family. Fathers of this nation should give this nation the right leadership. Leaders are sons and daughters of fathers, and fathers are supposed to be heads of families. So whatever we teach our children when they are growing up, when they are still tender, when they grow up in life, they will never depart from it. That's what the book of Proverbs tells us. So if we're able to train our children very well, when they grow up and become leaders, they will lead very well. You know, but there's a situation where some fathers look away from their children, whether they are rebellious. Some of our kids have become addicts, some have become deviants, some have become wayward, and some fathers seem not to be bothered. They've given up. But the more we give up, the more we pump in bad leaders into the society. So we have charged the fathers not to indulge in blame game. Let's take charge of our homes, because if we take charge of our homes, the society will be better for it. So let's not begin to blame a governor who is not doing well. That means his father didn't do very well while he was growing up.
And still on the 2022 Father's Day celebration, the supervising priest of the Redeemer's Cross Anglican Church in Lelenwo, Diocese of Evo, Reverend Uzubechuku Esomono, has rejoiced with fathers on the occasion of Father's Day, urging them to be valiant in their duties as fathers. In a message on the celebration of the 2022 Father's Day, Reverend Uzubechuku advised fathers to remain steadfast, bold and courageous, intending on keeping the garden God has committed to their charge. He charged fathers to be worthy role models to their children, pointing out that their role remains critical to the peace and development of the family, the body of Christ, and the society at large. He appealed to fathers to be more committed to the spiritual activities of the church and home, rather than abandon same to the women alone. As Nigerians mark Father's Day, an Anglican cleric, Venerable Wole Ogunseinde, has urged fathers not to leave the training of children to mothers alone. Ogunseinde gave the advice in an interview with the newsmen in Ibadan. Ogunseinde said God had made fathers heads of their homes and expected them to provide, protect, and guide them according to Christian tenets. The cleric emphasized that if an enabling environment is provided, such as fathers could be employed or employ themselves, the society would be less disjointed. He added that there would be less of the evils currently plaguing Nigeria when the fathers are comfortable and gainfully employed. The Christian Association of Nigeria has condemned the attacks in Kajuru area of Kaduna State, where gunmen attacked 2 churches in rural northwestern Nigeria on Sunday, killing 3 people. Pastor Debayo Ladeji, the association's spokesman, told newsmen that churches in Nigeria have become targets of armed groups. The attack in Kajuru area of Kaduna State targeted 4 villages, resulting in the abduction of an unspecified number of residents and the destruction of houses before the assailants escaped. It wasn't clear who was behind the attack on the Kaduna churches, as much of Nigeria has struggled with security issues, with Kaduna as one of the worst hit states. At least 32 people were killed in the Kajuru area last week in an attack that lasted for hours across 4 villages. Worshippers were attending the church service at the Maranatha Baptist Church and at St. Moses Catholic Church in Rubu community of Kaduna on Sunday morning when assailants came and surrounded the churches, both located in the same area. The Kaduna state government confirmed the 3 deaths by bandits who stormed the villages on motorcycles, beginning from Ungwan Farda and moving into Ungwan Turawa before Ungwan Makama and then Rubu. Authorities have identified the attackers as mostly young herdsmen from the Fulani tribe, caught up in the Nigeria's pastoral conflict between host communities and herdsmen over limited access to water and land. You're still watching the news on the hour. To end the news now, here's a recap of the major stories. As fathers celebrate their 2022 Father's Sunday, Primate of all Nigeria Anglican Communion, His Grace the Most Reverend Dr. Henry Ndukuba sends goodwill message to all fathers. The Christian Men's Fellowship of the Cathedral Church of the Advent Life Camp Gwarimpa Abuja joined Christian Men's Fellowship of the Basilica of Grace Gudo District Abuja and others to celebrate the 2022 Father's Day. Plus, Christian Association of Nigeria (Acnn) condemns attack in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, where gunmen attacked 2 churches in rural northwestern Nigeria, killing 3 people. And so that's the news on the hour. Judge Bernard Shaw said, "Success does not consist in never making mistakes, but in never making the same one a second time." Thank you for watching. I am Phoebe Agrimenhu. God bless you.